In the last 2 years, you've been blamed for financial collapse of Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Japan, and Russia.
Yeah, all of the above.
All of the above.
Yeah.
Are you that powerful?
No, I think there's a great misunderstanding. I've been blamed for everything. I am basically there to make money. I cannot and do not look at the social consequences of what I do.
In the winter of 1997, a trader named George Soros walked into a bank and signed a mathematical death warrant against Thailand. The country had transformed from a slum into a land of skyscrapers and superhighways.
The 1990s was the golden era of the Thai economy.
The economy was expanding at such a rapid pace.
And it transformed from an agrarian, low-income country to a manufacturing powerhouse.
For 10 years, Thailand had been growing at a staggering pace. Its income had tripled, and it had become a legend in the Asian market. Its stock market index had seen staggering 800% growth over the previous decade. Before that, George Soros and his associates had found a loophole so devastating that they crashed Thailand's entire economy, and in return they made $2 billion. Yes, they made $2 billion without building a single factory, without creating a product, and without hiring a single worker. This is the story of the worst economic crisis in Asia, where a handful of rich men crippled Thailand's economy and made billions of dollars while changing the destiny of a nation for generations.
Mr. Soros' hedge fund was involved in a $4 billion bet that the currency would fall sharply,
resulting in extensive layoffs, unemployment rates spike, investors watch their investments vanish, and countless individuals find themselves plunged into poverty.
The question is, what was George's strategy that ruined Thailand's economy? How did these financial wizards mint billions by crashing Thailand's economy? And where exactly did Thailand go wrong?
The Thai economy is expected to slow in the second half of 2025.
I cannot and do not look at the social consequences of what I do.
Thailand received a 36% tax on all imported goods into the US.
This story dates back to the 1970s. At that time, Japan had become a manufacturing superpower and was practically the undisputed king of innovation. In fact, Japan was moving so fast that it was on the verge of overtaking the United States to become the world's largest economy.
The Japanese now enjoy the highest standard of living in Asia.
Japan had established itself as a global manufacturing powerhouse.
The economy was growing so fast that it looked like it was about to overtake the US as the world's biggest.
But while Japan was celebrating, a death warrant was being drafted in a luxury hotel in New York. The United States forced Japan to sign the Plaza Accord. As we know from Japanese economic history, in just 2 years, the Japanese yen went from 240 yen to the dollar to just 120 yen to the dollar. Suddenly, labor costs in Japan had doubled in dollar terms. A $10,000 Toyota car now had to be sold for $20,000 in the US just to maintain the same profit in yen. This was when Honda and Sony realized that this was a death sentence. If they did not move their manufacturing to a cheaper country to control labor costs, they would go bankrupt. So Japanese companies identified 4 countries with extremely cheap labor. They moved semiconductor production to Malaysia, textiles to Indonesia, and electronics to the Philippines and Thailand. By the way, they did not go to India, because back then India was a terrible place to do business. Had we opened our economy in the 1980s instead of the 1990s, India could have been a very different place. Look at what we missed. In the 1980s, Thailand was a poor country full of slums and farms. All it knew how to export was rice. That was it. But as soon as Japanese companies moved into Thailand in just 10 years, Thailand transformed from slums and canals into a land of skyscrapers and superhighways. Its income tripled, its stock index grew 800%, and Thailand became a legend across Asia. Its GDP soared from $38 billion in 1985 to $180 billion in 1996. But just when everyone thought Thailand was the next Japan, George Soros and a group of powerful hedge funds decided to play a dangerous game with Thailand, a game so devastating that it crippled the country and made them billions of dollars.
East Asia's fiercely competitive tiger economy is starting to lose their fangs. Export growth has slowed sharply this year.
Reports in a Thai publication said Mr. Soros' hedge fund was involved in a $4 billion bet that the currency would fall sharply.
The question is, how can one man and his wealthy friends cripple an entire country? And how do you make $1 billion when an economy collapses? Well, as it turned out, George Soros discovered a brilliant loophole in the Thai economy. The Central Bank of Thailand had made an innocent promise. No matter what happens in the market, every time you bring us $1, we will give you 25 baht. And every time you give us 25 baht, we will give you $1. They had promised the market that the Thai baht would remain fixed at 25 baht to the dollar. Even if the market rate for $1 rose to 50 Thai baht, the Thai government promised to sell dollars at 25 baht. This is known as a fixed exchange rate. Now, if you look at India, the Reserve Bank of India follows a completely different approach. They say, we do not set the price, the market sets the price. So if panic begins when the dollar is at 80 rupees, the price will automatically move to 81, then 82, then 83, because the RBI believes that as the dollar becomes more expensive, fewer people will be able to afford it, and eventually buying pressure will ease perhaps at 90 or 92 rupees to the dollar. But when Thailand guaranteed a fixed exchange rate, the CEO of Toyota was delighted, because he no longer had to worry about currency depreciation, the same worry investors face in India. This is exactly where George Soros saw a billion-dollar opportunity. Here is what George did. He signed what is called a forward currency contract. Let us understand this with simple numbers, and you will see how this story plays out like a thriller. In this contract, Soros promised to deliver 25 billion baht in 6 months. In exchange, the bank promised to give him $1 billion at the fixed rate of 25 baht to the dollar. The commercial bank wanted to stay safe, so it sold those 25 billion baht to the Central Bank of Thailand, which innocently handed over $1 billion. At this point, George Soros was protected, and so was the commercial bank because it now had the dollars to pay Soros. But when multiple banks began selling baht to the Central Bank of Thailand, the central bank started running out of dollars. In fact, by July 2nd, 1997, the Central Bank of Thailand was in a desperate position. It had already paid out $23.4 billion to these commercial banks, yet it only had $2.8 billion left. This was critical because back then Thailand needed around $4 billion just to pay for oil imports. So in just a few weeks, Thailand was on the brink of bankruptcy. That was when the government realized they were about to go bankrupt because of their innocent promise. On July 2nd, 1997, the Bank of Thailand announced that it could no longer supply dollars and that the currency would now be determined by market forces alone. Suddenly, panic swept the market. In the chaos, the baht crashed from 25 all the way to 50 baht to the dollar. Within days, the currency had lost half its value. 6 months later, George Soros returned to the scene. He went to the open market and spent $500 million to buy 25 billion baht at the new cheap rate of 50 baht to the dollar. Then he took that pile of 25 billion baht back to the bank to fulfill his contract. He handed over the 25 billion baht and the bank handed him $1 billion, exactly as promised 6 months earlier. So he had effectively invested $500 million and received $1 billion in return. This is how the quantum fund exploited Thailand's innocent promise, crashed the Thai economy, and made $1 billion. As clever as this capitalist maneuver sounds, the reality on the ground was a horror story. Suddenly, oil prices in Thailand doubled. Real estate companies went bankrupt. Within a single year, poverty surged from around 35% to 45%. In fact, suicide rates reached an all-time high in 1999.
In 1997, the Asian crisis reaches a boiling point
as the country's currency and stock market continued to fall.
Major currencies in the region, like the Thai Baht, face significant devaluation. Many businesses go bankrupt, resulting in extensive layoffs. Unemployment rates spike, and countless individuals find themselves plunged into poverty.
The most famous symbol is the Sathorn Unique Tower, a 49-story luxury skyscraper that was 80% complete and then abandoned during the crisis. Even today, it stands as a rotting, haunted monument to the crisis. After reaching $180 billion in GDP, Thailand took another 9 to 10 years just to get back to that same level. That is how one man and his wealthy friends crashed an entire economy and walked away with billions of dollars. Even though Thailand worked hard to recover through tourism and manufacturing, both sectors are stagnating today. In 2019, Thailand welcomed 40 million tourists. It was a money-printing machine accounting for nearly 20% of GDP. But even 5 years later, in 2024, they struggled to reach 35 million tourists. At the same time, if you look at other Southeast Asian countries in 2009, Vietnam's electronics exports were under $5 billion. By 2020, they had skyrocketed to over $100 billion. Meanwhile, Thailand's high-tech exports have stagnated. On top of that, Thailand is facing a demographic time bomb. In 2024, the number of babies born hit a 70-year low. More than 20% of its population is now over 60, and it is rapidly becoming a super-aged society like Japan. So the question is, who is going to work in Thailand's factories? Who is going to pay the taxes to support the elderly? The 1997 crisis changed Thailand's DNA. Because of the trauma of 1997, the Thai government became paranoid about stability. They began hoarding foreign reserves to the point that today, they hold over $220 billion. This was to ensure that another George Soros could never hurt them again. But by playing it safe and protecting the banks, they forgot to invest in education and technology. So Thailand survived the crash, but it is walking with a limp. It has become an old man in a young neighborhood. While Vietnam is sprinting ahead, Thailand is moving slowly, still carrying the heavy burden of debt and fear left over from that fateful day in July 1997. That is how a financial wizard in New York did not just crash an economy for a few years, he changed the destiny of a nation for generations. And this story carries 3 very important lessons for India and the world. Lesson number 1. Trying to control a free market is like trying to hold a pile of sand in your tightly clenched fists. The harder you squeeze to keep its shape, the faster it slips through your fingers. In this case, while the market was left alone elsewhere, Thailand's central bank tried to control the currency, and that is what caused their economic miracle to slip away. Lesson number 2. Cheap labor can only take you so far. While Thailand relied heavily on cheap labor, South Korea climbed the economic ladder by investing in research and development and moving from workers to engineers to architects to designers, generation after generation. And finally, we must all remember that overcoming trauma is not just important for individuals, it is vital for nations as well. India's 200-year British trauma prevented us from opening our economy for 44 years, while China, Singapore, South Korea, and Japan forged ahead. Thailand never fully recovered from its foreign exchange trauma. As a result, it failed to invest enough in its own people. Today, Thailand is like an old man who saved all his money, but has no children to take care of him. I truly hope India does not make the same mistake, because even today, our ease of doing business still has a very long way to go, largely because of red tape. That is all from my side today, guys. If you learned something valuable from this case study, please hit the like button to make YouTube happy. And for more insightful business and political case studies, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.